What's going on, YouTubers? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to WWE NXT Review, the show from August 14th, 2019. Your commentators were Mauro Renaro, Beth Phoenix, Nigel McGuinness. They were at Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and this was the NXT after TakeOver Toronto 2. So, yeah, let's get to the show here. We start off first of all with the let's see, yeah, the highlights from NXT Takeover Toronto 2, which it was very well done the way they did it. And basically, this show is it's going to basically be about the highlights of what happened from Takeover Toronto 2, what pertains to the NXT Takeover shows during SummerSlam weekend, and just love the highlights of it. I mean, what pertains to watching highlights, what pertains to how WWE does this and everything, I'm almost going to enjoy it either way, because it's not by the hands of Kevin Dunn, in a way, because it's NXT. But yeah, but I enjoyed it though. The highlights of this, even the ones when they showed the one with Shayna Baszler and Mia Yim for this highlights, and then we'll get to more of that when we get to that match later on, which I thought was a very good highlight as well. So now we get to the opening show of the show, of the actual show, with a match. It was Breeze Dongo, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze with a new makeover. Even though they're wearing all black, and they're basically it's basically the same outfit, but they weren't all black though. And I'm like, how's this a makeover? It reminds me with Impact Wrestling did with Su Yung here. Su Yung looks like she could have a new look for her face paint. Maybe she's got a new makeover and all that. And then she comes out and she looks the same. It's the same way I feel about Breeze Dongo right now here, because what was the makeover they changed? What different colors? They want to be wearing all black now. Wow, what a makeover that was. Just disappointing. So Breeze Dongo came out. They went up against the Forgotten Sons, which it featured Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake being accompanied by Jackson Riker. Match itself, decent. Didn't care about the match that much, anyways. Mainly because of Fandango gyrating, trying to be like Rick Rude. So Breeze Dongo won. So nothing much to say about that. Breeze Dongo won. Now let's get to what happened with the highlights. What pertains to NXT Takeover Toronto 2. We're starting off with the NXT North American Championship highlights of that triple threat match between the Velveteen Dream, the champion, versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. Very good highlights of it. I enjoyed the highlights of the match because it represents that match. That was one of the best matches on the card, next to Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, and then what pertains to showing the highlights of it from this NXT show, it was pretty damn good. After the match, though, this was the post-match of what happened after TakeOver. After the match, I meant to say, Pete Dunne was being interviewed, and I'm assuming it was Kathy Kelly who interviewed him, where Pete Dunne says that Dream had, basically said that Dream had to do whatever it takes to, he needed to keep his belt, and then Pete Dunne says, but he's going to make sure that he does whatever he needs to do to get that belt away from the Velveteen Dream. So basically, they're gonna do a match somewhere down the line between Pete Dunne and the Velveteen Dream, where Pete Dunne is going to be the one to dethrone the Velveteen Dream of his title reign of North American champion. So hopefully that happens. We'll see. Either way, just get the belt off of the Velveteen Dream already. He doesn't. At this point, he doesn't need the belt, because his character's his character is all over enough that he doesn't even need the belt. All he needs is fan support, because he's because of his gimmick. He's popular and all that. So just get the belt off him and give it to Pete Dunne. because Pete Dunne can do more with that belt than the Velveteen Dream can. Just saying. But there you go. We get a recap of the NXT breakout tournament, where it pertains to the finals competitors. That we'll get to that later. That ends up being the main event between Jordan Myles, formerly known as ACH, versus Cameron Grimes, formerly known as Trevor Lee, and basically basically what pertains to the recap of it. They're also showing the other participants that were in this tournament too as well, which was a pretty damn good highlights to this show. So, and we're gonna see more of that develop. Wait a minute, more develop. What I meant to say is that we're gonna. Let me try to say this again, because I didn't know what I was going for with that, folks. I apologize, but what I'm basically trying to say here is that after seeing the participants in these matches for this this whole tournament thing, where it's gonna lead to the ones that made it to the end, like Jordan Myles and Cameron Grimes. It's gonna culminate who's gonna win the finals here, and we'll get to that later. Basically, they was just hyping up the tournament, who's gonna have the victor here, who's gonna be the one to win this tournament, to be our breakout star on NXT. So there you go. We get to the highlights of NXT Tag Team Championships from TakeOver Toronto 2. The Street Profits defeating Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, which was a very good highlights of it and all that, because it was also a good match too. So yeah, I love the highlights of the match, and I love the highlights that they showcase. Pertains to outstanding tag team match that it was shown. So all of a sudden we get to the post match, where Kathy Kelly was interviewing Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and they were not happy because about how they lost the match, because they're trying to find William Regal. That they said, where's William Regal? Because the Street Profits ended up pinning the illegal man in the tag team match. It showed that Kyle O'Reilly was illegal, and Bobby Fish was the one who was actually legal in the match. So in a way, they got a pleasing argument that they're gonna be getting another NXT Tag Team Championship title shot, which they did, and then spoilers came out there that happened what pertains to that. We'll get to that whenever that show comes up on the network. But yeah, there you go. We get a viewer package. I guess you can kind of say it's the viewer package, what pertains to the highlights of Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. But based on how I seen this, it was more than just a viewer package. It was more likely a music video, what pertains to Io Shirai, what she did to Candice LeRae, and on top of that, with Io Shirai, with her being a heel, having a new attitude, having new music, having a new look and everything. And the song, I believe the song was "Scary Mask," sang by Poppy. Who's Poppy? I don't know who she is, but when I saw her in this music video too and all, this is this whole put together music video for Io Shirai. I don't know how to describe her, but yeah, I thought it was pretty well done, and as far as am I going to be into her, I don't know, because this is my first time hearing her, and in a way, this music video that they did for Io Shirai, where pertains to where pertains to adding the highlights from TakeOver Toronto 2, where pertains to Candice LeRae and Io Shirai, it was pretty sick, and I enjoyed it. I was loving it. So I'm gonna check out this Poppy girl to see what she's about. Cause I think I heard about her, what pertains to Triple H signing her what pertains to doing something with her in the future, what pertains to NXT. So yeah, I'm gonna look more up into that for that one. But yeah, but I enjoyed it though. It was pretty cool. They did that for Io Shirai. I loved it. I just loved it. Then we get to a review package of, I mean, the highlights of the NXT Women's Championship. Shayna Baszler defeating Mia Yim at TakeOver Toronto 2. Now, if you see my review of TakeOver Toronto 2, I talk about how this match was the weakest match on the card, and I stand by that, and for many reasons. But after seeing this highlights and all that, despite being the weakest match on the card, we're potentially seeing the highlights of it on this show. It was pretty damn good. A pretty damn good highlights of it that they show. But obviously in the end, Shayna Baszler won, which I expected. After in the post match, we see Kathy Kelly interviewing Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler, Kathy Kelly is telling as asking Shayna Baszler if Mia Yim pushed her further than she expected and all that, and then Shayna Baszler removed her mouth guard, whichever, and said, "And still." Exactly. All right. Before we get to the main event, one more, well, a couple more things to get to as well, and that's the extended look of the NXT champion Adam Cole, baby, versus Johnny Gargano in this 2 out 3 falls match, three stages of hell from TakeOver. The highlights of it, what pertains to the first fall, which was a wrestling match, the second fall, which was a street fight, and then the third and final fall, which ends up being a barbed wire steel cage with weapons around surrounding the ring, surrounding the cage. It was a damn good highlights of this main event match from TakeOver that they show here on this show itself, and I enjoyed it. I freaking enjoyed it, especially when Adam Cole ends up retaining the NXT championship. Then we get a clip of Matt Riddle showing up, basically a highlight clip, basically in a way, of Matt Riddle showing up at TakeOver to call out Killian Dane, where they start fighting and everything, blah blah blah, and then it's going to lead to the match, the match that they're going to have on the next NXT show, and we'll get to that moment. We'll get to that eventually this week. All right, main event time. The NXT Breakout Tournament Finals between Jordan Myles versus Cameron Grimes, and they had a decent match, and then it ended up being a very good match in the end of it. And then at the end of it all, you have Jordan Myles hitting Cameron Grimes with the Brainbuster, and they're going for a 450 splash, which he calls it the Midnight Star, and he gets the 3 count in the win. So your winner of the NXT Breakout Tournament, Jordan Myles. After the match, when Rigo confronted Jordan Myles on stage and gave him the contract, and because he won the tournament, he gets to choose a future NXT title shot of his choosing. So that's Jordan Myles' consolation prize of winning the tournament. He gets to choose wherever NXT title match he wants. All you gotta do is sign the contract and then let us know what title match he wants, either the North American Championship or the NXT Championship. Or if he wants to, he could get himself a tag team partner and get himself a tag team title shot, basically in a way, But yeah, So now, and do I think Jordan Myles is one of my guys who should have won this tournament? No. He was not my odd choice to win the tournament either way. If anything, I was hoping either maybe Angel Garza or Cameron Grimes, who could have won this tournament. But instead they gave it to Jordan Myles instead, which I'm not mad at that though. Jordan Myles, he's pretty good. ACH, he's pretty damn good. But there you go. Talking about wrestling, obviously it was 2 matches, because the rest of the show was all about highlights of it, where it to take over Toronto 2. So my overall stream for the show, I'm going to go 6.5 out of 10. And with that being said, folks, thank you all for watching. for It's a Natural Born Driller, saying peace on the streets. For this was your WWE NXT review. Until next time, folks, take care.